Okay, hello, welcome back to another time-lapse recording. I once again have Spire here to help me talk because I love having him here. Hi, Spire.
Hi, hello everybody.
Right away, I have so much to say. So, first of all, the chapter title this time is based on obviously UK road signs. I don't know if that is obvious, but it is meant to be UK road signs. And I actually downloaded the official font. It's called Transport. It's the official font that's used in all the signs, all the road signs in the UK. So I don't know if I'm allowed to use that, but I did it. I'm sure if it's
I don't see
available
why
to
not.
download, I should be able to use it, right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's. I feel like I had something else. I just saw stuff starting to happen. I was like, ah, shit, I gotta start talking.
Well, I saw you used a big CG washing machine as reference in there.
Yeah, I think I got those off. Is it SketchUp or Sketchfab or something? Because I could not. I was like, what does a washing machine look like? What does an industrial washing machine look like? I don't remember. Yeah, I think I said it. I just watched the time lapse for the last chapter, chapter 9, so I could refresh on what I said and not just repeat myself. I'm going to repeat myself now though, where if you need to trace something, just trace it, because comics are incredibly time consuming and who cares, just trace it, it's fine. As long as you own the image or you are it's free for use, there's no reason why you shouldn't trace, in my humble opinion.
Absolutely.
This chapter is like the cool down chapter between the action, I'm saying that with air quotes, the action of the previous chapter where they all went to Larner, and the action with 3 exclamation marks after it of the upcoming chapter, which is the last chapter in the book. And I wanted to make sure that, because this is basically 26 pages of conversation, not much really happens in this chapter, but a lot gets talked about and it's still important and stuff. So this was my personal challenge to myself, to make sure that I love drawing conversation. I think it's so much fun. But to make sure that those conversations were actually visually interesting. The entire scene of them on the roof is what is it, 8 pages or something?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's followed by another 8 pages of Vic and Nate in a car. So hopefully I succeeded in making it look interesting. I think I did.
What a good poly face. Hold on.
Yeah, I got rid of it. It changed. That was not a permanent poly face, unfortunately. But yeah, I think I did an okay job of making the conversations fun to read and to make you forget that you are just reading, because it gets updated weekly. It's oh cool, I'm reading 2 months of a conversation. Trying to make that interesting for people to want to come back and keep reading is an interesting struggle, an interesting challenge. There's a lot of little things in this chapter which I've been really looking forward to drawing and finally getting out for ages. And the main one is the driving lesson at the end, which was originally meant to be Holly teaching Vic, but I changed it a while ago for plot reasons. Yeah, I was because Holly's, kind of the sweet older cousin sort of vibe, and I was yeah, she's gonna teach him how to drive. And then I was oh no, actually it's way more interesting if someone he doesn't like teaches him to drive.
Yes. Unfortunately for Vic.
This quick side character, I don't remember her name, Sparicelli, I think, was one of those characters where I was oh, I need a side character. I don't know what they look like. I will design them on the page. I wish I had the strength and the motivation, not the motivation, the endurance maybe, to do pre-character designs. Most of the time, if there's a side character, it's okay, I'm going to find out what they look like when I am drawing them.
Yeah.
You tend to do quite a lot of prep, don't you?
Oh my gosh, it can easily flip back and forth. A lot of the times I actually don't do a lot of prep. I do the same exact thing. I see who they are when they walk in the door.
Yeah. I don't know if that's like a webcomic thing or if that's just an us thing where it's like, okay, it's a webcomic. I can't spend ages on the concept art. I need to actually be drawing the page. And if I'm drawing the characters, I want it to be in situ, you know?
Yeah, I think being a webcomic definitely factors into that. Like, you just got to keep moving. So prep time is time that you stop moving.
Yeah, exactly. I like this little page of Rachel and Vic. Everyone is always like, everyone is so mean to Vic. I'm like, no, Rachel loves him.
Rachel's right there.
Rachel loves all her shitty kids.
Aww. I also love this shot of Polly and Julia just sitting on the floor with crayons and stuff. It's great.
It's just girl time.
It's girl time.
Girl time drawing escape plans.
That's just what girls do.
It is what girls do. Paulina liking to draw and writing stuff down quite a lot used to play a bigger role. I told you this, I'm sure. It used to play a bigger role in the story, and that's why for ages on the website there were all these like scraps of paper as like menu elements and like buttons and all that stuff. And it never ended up happening. The only time we've really seen that is when she draws some anime for the acoustic PowerPoint presentation.
Which was very good, by the way.
Thank you. I'm very happy with that scene. So here's our 1,000,000-page roof conversation. And I remember when I was writing this, I said to you, Spires, like, is 12 pages too long or something? And you were like, yes. So this is
I was going to bring that up if you didn't.
Yeah, this is trimmed down. But it hits everything I wanted to hit. And you know what? Sometimes it's nice to just sit and be with some characters for 10 pages. I am definitely nowhere near as rambling with my storytelling as I was in the first book, where most of it was not scripted, and I was just working, like I would do an entire page and then move on to the next page. Like I did not plan out entire chapters. I knew it was going to happen, but I wasn't planning it properly. So I'm definitely better now, but I still like a good long conversation.
You still like a good 12-page conversation.
Yeah. This top left panel of Vic sitting there, I ended up changing that to a close-up of his hands because when I read back through this conversation, there were just so many shots of like... One of the ways I was trying to make the conversations visually interesting was changing up the shots and changing up the angles and all that stuff. And there were one too many shots of just Vic straight on, and this was one of the most uninteresting poses, so I changed it to a close-up of his hands, and I think that worked much better.
Yes, I think it definitely has more emotional weight, and also it was a lot of fun to shade.
Oh, good. It was fun to ink. I liked that. I love drawing hands. That was a fun panel.
Any excuse to draw a wiggly hand is a good excuse.
Yeah, just a big square sausage thing. Excellent. I think I remember struggling framing this page because it was a lot of like back and forth shots. And Vic and Julia were both meant to be in a lot of these panels, and it just looked too crowded. So I think I ended up cutting Vic from the fourth to last, the fifth panel there. I got rid of his head, and then I drew Julia in the one before that, and I got rid of her. That may not make sense, but more editing, stuff that is like, it looks okay in the thumbs, and in practicality it looks kind of shit.
Mm-hmm. That's a good Vic panel right there.
I think that's one of my favorite panels of the chapter.
Love a moody Vic panel.
And it's got a hand in it as well, so it's perfect.
Everything you need, all in one box.
Yeah. It was exciting getting to do this page where it's finally like confirmed what happened with Vic's sister.
Yes.
You spend so long when you're working on a webcomic, you spend so long with like the state of the world. I think I talked to you about this. The state of the world is like set as it is pre-story, and then over the course of the story, things change, but you spent so much time in the pre-story state that it's weird to like introduce these new things, if that makes sense. So like one of the other the major ones in INHIBIT was when Paulina reveals to Vic like, oh, dormancy is fake. And that was like a huge status quo shift for the comic, but it was so strange for me to be like, oh, this is out in the open now. Like now the characters can talk about this. Oh, I really struggled with this bottom right panel.
I love Polly's just unhinged grin in that last panel.
She's so good. That page was actually drawn. I sketched that in like 2017 or something.
Wow.
God, yeah. Webcomics take a really long time. If there's a particular interaction I'm excited to draw, sometimes I'll just like draw it out in a sketchbook. I used to do that much more often pre-pandemic. I just don't really draw very much nowadays if it's not literally the comic. And yeah, that like, if you burn me or if you shock me, I'll burn you. That was a thing I drew years ago in preparation for this. Okay, we're finally off the roof. I don't know, I wasn't keeping track of how many pages that was, but it's a lot of pages. And now we're jumping right into another conversation. I don't have anything interesting to say about this page. Yay! It's Nate.
My favorite character.
Look at that fucking little hand.
Yep. Just
see, this is a great reason for using reference. That was a pre-reference hand. Oh, did I maybe... I was gonna be like, and this is my post-reference hand. I think I used a reference for the inks. Well, this is why you should use references, because look at that hand, and then if you go to the actual comic and you look at the final comic page, it looks pretty good. Oh, this is okay. This page changed a lot, and I don't know if I'm going to see it in this recording. I don't know if I changed it later, but there were a lot of, again, oh my god, so much. I kind of want to pause. I'm going to pause it real quick. This third panel, I changed Vic's expression, and I changed... There's like a bar to the right of him. That's where I was like, okay, I want the new panel to be there, and I'm gonna lengthen the fourth panel. And then the fifth panel, the lower left one, it's like, we don't need another close-up of Vic. We're gonna see him basically do the exact same expression in another two panels later on the page. So I changed that to be just like another zoom out of the car, of like time passing, while I didn't want to draw them literally changing seats. I don't know why I struggled so much. No, I do know why. I know why I struggled so much with this page. It's because it's really hard to choreograph people in a car.
Absolutely.
But I think ultimately I succeeded, and I think you kind of forget that they're literally just two people sitting in a car next to each other. Hopefully.
Yes, because what they're discussing is way more riveting.
And also the colors are really nice, and it helps to carry the flow of the conversation. Thank you, Spire.
Oh, well, thank you. It's too bad that we don't have, like, I don't know, a time lapse of the colors and shading as well. I wonder what that would look like.
Yeah, I wish I had... Always starting with the most interesting face on a page. I wish I had a time lapse of the inks, especially, because so much changes when I'm doing the inks, but what can you do? I can switch. I can start using Procreate to ink, but I will not be doing that. I don't know what it is. I really don't like inking in Clip Studio. I can in Procreate. I can only sketch in Procreate. It does not feel good to draw in for me.
I mean, is it because you have to like hold the iPad, or?
No, it's just like the program itself I don't like.
I
need a keyboard for all of my million shortcuts that I use regularly.
Yeah.
So here's another example of like trying to shake up the choreography, even though it's two people sitting next to each other, changing the angles, changing who's in the foreground, changing like how much of a person we're seeing. All of that stuff can still make the framing of each panel interesting and different instead of just, like face on each time. I'm trying not to toot my own horn. I think I succeeded, but I guess it's ultimately up to the readers.
Well, they're here watching this video right now, so I think they enjoyed it enough.
Yeah, I hope they are. This was a fun page to pencil and also to ink. I really like drawing Vic and Nate interacting. I don't want to be like, oh, I like when they argue, but it is fun to draw arguments. Oh yeah, I hadn't thumbed this final page, so that's quickly me thumbing it and then just starting to draw it, I guess. Oh, this is another panel where I ended up cutting out one of the characters because it was just too much. I don't know if I do that in the pencils or the inks, but like that Nate in the bottom left that I just drew is basically the exact same size and angle as the Vic in the second panel. It's just too repetitive for the page, so I cut the first Vic out and it's all you can see is Nate in that panel. And that's it. And that's the chapter.
That chapter went by so fast.
It went by really fast. That's it. Thanks, guys. Bye.
See ya.